Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise. Congressman, each hurricane brings its own challenges. What's your greatest worry with this one?
Well, first, good morning. Good to be with you. And, my prayers are with the people of Southwest Louisiana, especially when you look at Lake Charles, the fact that they're still recovering from Hurricane Laura. And then here you go again. People, they just had to be removing some of the debris that's still on the ground yesterday to try to clear up some of the debris from Laura as this storm approaches. So, every storm you take seriously. But when you're on the heels of recovering from a major storm just a few weeks ago, it's a double blow to especially the people of Lake Charles. But we pray for everybody in the direct path of this hurricane.
Congressman, we want to ask you about your colleague across the aisle, Nancy Pelosi. She is suggesting that later today she's going to be thinking about some sort of legislation to create a commission on presidential capacity and perhaps try to invoke the 25th Amendment. She says the president who's taken medicine for COVID, the medicine's making him kooky, and so she wants to essentially transfer power to Mike Pence. Mike Pence is not going to say, yeah, I think I should have that. Where does it stand in the House on the Republican side?
Well, first of all, this shows you just how misplaced Speaker Pelosi's priorities are. We should be in Washington helping families that are struggling and recovering, and small businesses that would love another round of Paycheck Protection Program funding, where there's massive bipartisan support for Congressman Shavett's bill to give them another round of PPP funding. That could be passed tomorrow, but she's not bringing us back for that. She has been fixated for the last 4 years with overturning the results of the last election. And then here she is again on the heels of Vice President Pence winning handily in the debate against Kamala Harris. She's now trying to overturn the results of next month's election. She's wanted to remove President Trump from office because she doesn't agree with the people's choice from the last election. Look, they started with the Russia hoax. They did impeachment. This is what she spent and wasted her speakership on. She should be fighting for families and small businesses, not trying to overturn the results of the election because she knows how well President Trump's doing. By the way, what a signal that is to Joe Biden that she's spending her time trying to remove President Trump from office because clearly she mustn't have confidence in Joe Biden's abilities.
The president says Crazy Nancy is the one who should be under observation. New York Post editorial board, the potential coup is an obvious non-starter, and Mark Levin piggybacked on that, saying the Senate won't pass this, president won't sign it. She's setting up nothing. She's doing a fan dance, another phony Pelosi drama 3.5 weeks before the election. Why do you think she's doing this if she knows it can't pass?
Again, clearly it's to distract away from the fact that they can't tout anything about Joe Biden. Right. Vice President Pence, literally the night before, had done such an incredible job laying out President Trump's agenda, what President Trump did to get this economy back on track from the failed years of Obama and Biden, how he's confronting COVID. We're literally on the verge of 4 different internationally respected companies being approved by the FDA, which is the gold standard for drug certification, on the verge of vaccines that are being done because of President Trump's leadership, by the way, in record time. And what's she doing? Not helping families. Families need help. Instead, she's trying to overturn the results of the election yet again.
Clearly, the president's in her head, and she is off her rocker. Meanwhile, yesterday, this stunning news that there was a plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer and this diabolical group who was out to do some horrific things. We know how bad that is. We know that they were watched, or the Justice Department found them, arrested them, and they were stopped in their tracks. Governor Whitmer, not grateful, but focused on the president. Listen.
The President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists and hate groups. Hate groups heard the President's words not as a rebuke, but as a rallying cry, as a call to action.
First off, interesting way to say thanks. Number 2 is, I thought about you, Steve Scalise. When the Bernie Sanders supporter tried to kill you and almost was successful, I never heard you say Bernie Sanders is to blame. There was a plot unwound by the president's Justice Department, and she blames President Trump.
Yeah, this is just, it's so sad to see how she's trying to inject politics into something that, again, I mean, just like Bernie wasn't responsible. If crazy people try to do crazy things, thank God there was law enforcement there in my case to protect everybody on the baseball field. Thank God there was President Trump's Justice Department to stop and thwart this plot. But for her to go in and continue these lies, I mean, President Trump, how many times have you heard President Trump denounce racism? And across the board, he's done it multiple times, and they know that. They want to just keep perpetrating a lie, but at a time like this to do it, when it was literally President Trump's Justice Department that stopped this from even happening. You know, it's just sad that some people literally want to use every single day to try to confuse the public, to try to lie, because they're scared to death of that President Trump's going to get reelected, including by voters in Michigan. I was in Michigan a few weeks ago. There's so much excitement and support for President Trump because of the things he did to get Michigan back on track. Pennsylvania, Minnesota, all of these states that are turning around from the failed years of Obama and Biden. This is where we are in politics. But unfortunately, President Trump continues to do his job to just fight for those hardworking people every single day and to protect people, even like Governor Whitmer.
All right. Steve Scalise, House Minority Whip.